60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
It's a quandary that's perplexing.
Let's agree to disagree.
No, let's agree that you agree with me.
I wanted to share a thought about the Matt versus Sye debate, because I think Sye really missed an opportunity. All right, so Sye, fail! At least in this regard. Sye started by playing a lot of clips of Matt's statements during his opening statement, and this was a series right here.
Truth is very important to him.
I care about what's actually true. My only concern is, or my primary concern is whether or not a belief's true. I actually give a shit about whether or not something's true.
Truth is the thing that I value most. Matt values truth so much that he even put on a t-shirt. He wants to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. Well, so do I.
So clearly, I mean, it's obvious that Matt is interested in truth, seeking truth, ascertaining truth. But Sye just let that go. Okay, Matt, you're a truth seeker. Now, it did come out during the debate that they have different definitions of truth, so that just kind of shows you that when you can't even agree on the definition of truth, I don't know how far you're going to get, but regardless, point being, Matt should have not only been asked his definition of truth, but why truth? I mean, why? In an atheist universe, why truth? Not just what is truth, but why? I mean, in an atheist universe, there's no imperative to ascertain truth. There's no thou shalt ascertain truth. It's not, as it were, part of the furniture of the universe that for some reason or another we must ascertain truth. I think that the best that Matt could say is, well, it's an option. And that's really what the atheist, it seems to me, would have to say, that it's just an option. Like I go to get ice cream and I have options, so I pick a certain flavor. Or maybe I pick to not eat ice cream at all. It's just a preference. That's what it is. Matt said, you hear me grinding the gears there? If you can't find it, grind it. Anyhow, so Matt just happens to have a personal preference for ascertaining truth. But that's all it is. It's just a preference. He may very well just decide, you know what? I don't really care about truth. It's just an option, so I'll just live in delusion or what have you. The point being, he should have been asked at the outset to justify his preference for truth and why he's imposing upon the rest of us that we should do likewise, assuming from his implication that he is imposing that upon us, because after all, he does have a show wherein people call in and it's their definition of truth versus his, apparently, since there was that issue of definition of truth. And that is part of the issue as well. So you see, Matt has a certain view of truth, and he now demands that other people adhere to his definition of truth, or else be put down or dismissed or be thought less of or be hung up on or what have you. So, for instance, another reply he could give, besides that it is just a preference, is that, well, truth is a Darwinian survival mechanism. That's not a bad argument, perhaps, but it's just invalid, really, because the only thing nature cares about. And that's if we could even claim that nature cares about anything, okay? It's just a manner of speech. The only thing nature cares about is survival, not truth. And you could survive by ascertaining empirical truth, yes. But you could also survive by being utterly deluded, and it doesn't really matter. If the point is survival, take your preference. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as you survive. Now, you may want to argue that, well, you have much better chance of surviving as a seeker of empirical truth than living a deluded life. Well, that would be something that would be left to statistics to bear out. Let me give you an example, okay? Atheists believe that theists are functioning under a delusion, that at the very core of their worldview philosophy, there is delusion. The God delusion and so on. And yet theism represents the overwhelming majority of the entire planet's population for all time, in all history, in all places, by a long shot. So what does that tell us? It tells us that if theism is a delusion, then it is an incredibly successful Darwinian survival mechanism. So now, why is the atheist coming along attempting to get me to give up that which is so well evidenced to help me survive? Just what is the underlying premise there? If this is helping me survive and it's doing it so well, why are they attempting to get me to give it up? Moreover, Christianity is the majority religion. So that would make an interesting argument for atheists converting to Christianity. If they're truly interested in nature and biology and evolution, then the statistics would bear out that their best chance of surviving would be to become Christians. So the point being, in an atheist universe, truth is like an ice cream flavor. You can just pick one. You can decide one or leave it behind. In fact, it is like ice cream itself. You can decide to partake or not. And in fact, just like if you're an ice cream monger, you may shorten your lifespan. Statistically, living in delusion, in accordance to the atheist view of what delusion is better evidence to provide you survival. Now, conversely, on a Christian worldview, and I'll just cite one text which states, where Jesus stated, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Now, this tells us a few things that are very important. One, there is such a thing as truth. Two, truth is something that we may, or rather should, seek. Three, truth will make us free. And moreover, on the Christian worldview, Jesus stated, "I am the truth." So not only is truth a concept within the Christian worldview, but truth personified. It personified. So you have a worldview, generally speaking, of course, an atheist worldview wherein truth is optional. You may decide to seek it, you may not, it doesn't really matter as long as you survive. And you have the Christian worldview wherein truth truly exists, is obtainable, that is seekable, is searchable, is findable, and personified, and calls to us. So that's, I think, that one of the things that not only should Sye have taken up with Matt, but all Christians should take up with theists. Is before the discussion is midway or towards the end, but at the very beginning, at the very point where we're seeking to define our terms, to not only define our terms grammatically, or logically or philosophically, but to ask why. Why? You could give me the best definition of the word or the term or the concept of truth that you can muster, but I would still want to ask why. Why should I ascertain it? Why are you making this demand upon me? Or why are you recommending it? Or why fill in the blank? But just ask why. Why truth? Without you borrowing from my worldview, based on yours alone. Why truth?
I care about what's actually true.
Why?
My only concern is, or my primary concern is whether or not a belief's true.
Why?
I actually give a shit about whether or not something's true.
Why?
He wants to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible.
Why? Why?